there were a number that toward the very close to 325 AD, much more Gentile based, almost exclusively Gentile based. And I think that there were also some that were kind of like a good mixture of the two, both Jewish and Gentile sort of thing. And but there was a lot of focus on the inner person and prayers and meditation and chanting and developing this inner awareness and inner light and all the rest of it, as opposed to being wrapped up in dogmas, like teachings and dogmas too much, like that someone else is telling you that you have to accept sort of thing, or you're not a part of this group, this religion, this sect, or whatever the case might be. I don't think they function quite, that way sort of thing, And so it's this sort of understanding, guys, that I'm desperately trying to bring to the surface myself and present in my videos about like more broad-based spirituality sort of thing, because it ties into the understanding of an undercurrent of spiritual awareness that every last one of us can tap into, guys, if we choose to, and learn to trust our inner voice and our inner intuition and so on, and keep manifesting enlightenment, spiritual awareness, spiritual understandings of things. Like it doesn't stop, it doesn't end. It never does, never will. Honest, we have some horrible destructive force that decides to stop all of that completely, and stop people's inner searching and all the rest of it, to go to the deeper levels and so on. And unless there's an active attempt to try to, and there has been throughout the ages, where you've had people in positions of control that have wanted to silence the mystics and the Gnostics and those that prefer to take that path, to great detriment to our species, because the things that are lost, the things that are they're out there to be aware of, but there's this barrier put up between us, deliberately put up between us and those deeper awarenesses and so on. That is a great detriment to us as a collective species, guys, because we can go ever deeper and we can become ever greater lights through the whole process of seeking those deeper levels of understanding and so on, spiritual awareness and understanding. It could be a big part of it is just going to the deeper levels of our own psyche. We'll say, maybe there's all kinds of ways that it can be explained from a scientific point of view, but the end result is that, does it improve the individual? Does it improve society as a whole? And whatever the source may be of it, if that is the outcome of it, it can't be a bad thing. It obviously can't be a bad thing. If it enriches the individual to make them a better quality individual, and then that individual goes out in society and affects more of society, more people around them, so that more of society in turn, that ripple effect sort of thing, that society itself is more greatly enriched and more greatly improved by its sorting, how can that possibly be a bad thing? How can anybody be against that? And that seems to be very, 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 very much what was going on, like with Buddha when he came on the scene and when he manifested his path, and the same thing with Yeshua when he came on the scene and he tried to spark, to manifest the light and the spiritual awareness that he tried to manifest in the world as well. For the people of his place and his time and so on, that's been echoing down through the ages ever since, for the past 2,000 plus years now, sort of thing. I'm going to check the timer now, guys, because you know what's going to happen here. I'm half an hour in. Okay, we got a good, I'm good so far. Now, hopefully, I'm going to try to put that just where I did. So I won't know now, guys, until I replay this later on. If I completely screwed up this video, and if this is angled bad or lighting's not, and then I'll be massively upset here. So guys, one of the things that I want to start doing soon now And this is kind of like how would I put it? Okay, I'm going ahead to say pushback because I'm struggling for a better way to say this sort of thing. Of all the dogmatic religious pushing at me, from people that, I'm Christian, or I'm Muslim, or I'm this, or I'm that, or I'm Jewish, and we have our beliefs, we blah blah blah, and this is the way you got to think, this is the way you got to believe, and so on and so forth. Like, I see so much of this online. I see so many people coming from this perspective sort of thing, and it is so extremely frustrating dealing with people that operate from that perspective sort of thing. And so I can't touch so much on Judaism as a religion, and even though Christianity came directly out of Judaism, Islam's like I can't even touch that right now, guys, because I'm all over the place with that religion. I what they're doing in the world right now and what I have found out about it so far. I don't know how to make the videos, guys, to get into the way I want to explain that religion, because I don't. To me, whether it began this way or not, it certainly seems like it began this way, but it manifested over time to be something that tends to tap into a very, very dark, very, very low energy type place, and you see it by the way it's manifested. So we have this teaching in Christianity, maybe it comes out of Judaism, I don't know, of by their fruits you will know them. Okay, by their fruits you will know them. And so one good way to gauge the spiritual depth of any religion is to see what kind of fruits that religion is producing. And so anybody with a brain right now, guys, can see that the fruits of this particular so-called religion, overall, right across the board, with virtually anybody that's ever been exposed to it, those that have been born into it, been indoctrinated by it their entire lives, I would say damaged considerably by it as well, their entire lives, and all those that are kind of like being pulled into it right now, and misled, misguided, brainwashed, and all the rest of it. It's everything that it does, it does the wrong way. It doesn't operate from a deeper spiritual perspective. And you can tell the difference between this particular spiritual path as opposed to, let's say, Hinduism or Buddhism, or the better forms of Judaism. To be honest with you, I'm not aware of too many other religions out there that operate quite the same way as this particular one does. And like I said, you see it by the fruits of what comes out of it, sort of thing, And it's not a good place, guys. It is absolutely not a good place overall, So I'm going to be talking about that religion in other videos and all the rest of sort of thing. But right now, it is not really the purpose of this video to get into that particular thing too much. I just want to try to stick with more high-minded concepts, more broad-based spiritual concepts, trying to allow whatever knowledge is out there that can kind of seep into my mind, to present something to you that can make you think about things at a deeper level, and sort of get more to scope off of there, sort of thing. So, so one of the things I want to do now soon, guys, I want to begin a series of videos where I want to start going into the book of Acts in the Bible. Okay, and why have I picked the book of Acts? Well, because of the fact that tradition tells us, Christian tradition tells us, that this book records the foundation of the Christian movement and how Christianity began and spread around the world and all the rest of it, sort of thing. So outside of Yeshua's own words, his own teachings, what is supposedly attributed to Yeshua himself, I don't know of a better, beyond that, like that would be obviously the very, very first place to start, but beyond that, then I can't think right off the top of my head the next best place to go other than to start going through the book of Acts and what is supposedly recorded of how the movement ignited and how it grew and expanded over time, sort of thing. Now, guys, you might find this somewhat interesting, hopefully anyway. I'm going to take my readings from this book here, guys. This is the Living Bible, Illustrated, the way, and this is not a direct translation. I think it's what they call like a paraphrase or something like that. So when this version of the Bible was put out, guys, it was meant to be put out. Everything was meant to be worded kind of in modern day English, and for people just to kind of read through it fairly comfortably and easily without all the thous and these and all this old-fashioned English writing that nobody uses anymore, sort of thing, guys. So people reading it could grasp the broader concept, the basic concept better because it's being expressed in modern day English, sort of thing. So it's not a direct translation like that, sort of thing. But guys, for somebody who wants an introduction, to the Bible, an easy read of the Bible, let's say, this is an excellent version of the Bible to begin with, sort of. Problem is, guys, this is not in print anymore. Not that I'm aware of. This version of the Bible is not in print anymore. I think this particular copy was published. So it was published through Tyndale Publishing House. I think this particular one, it was published back in the late 60s, guys. No, wrong again. No, wait, no. The original version of it, the original publication was published in 1971. Oh Lord. So I'm not quite sure which, because they also say the 25th printing was in 1978. But as far as I know, guys, this version of the Bible is not being presented anymore. It says here. Additional text and photos, okay, by Youth for Christ International. Anyway, I told you guys before, I've mentioned several times before now, guys, that I come out of a Salvation Army tradition, okay? And I don't know how many people know a lot about the Salvation Army. Down in the States, it's considered more of a social organization. Here in Canada, I think throughout most other parts of the world where the Salvation Army operates, it is considered as being a full-fledged, Christian denomination, another Christian denomination or sect of the Christian Church. It's just like any other, sect of the Christian Church. The Salvation Army comes directly out of the Methodist Church. So the founder of the Salvation Army, I've mentioned this in several other videos, the founder of the Salvation Army was originally a Methodist minister. And so he founded the Christian mission in the East End of London. I think it was back in 1885, 1884, early to mid 1880s there, guys, which eventually evolved into the Salvation Army within less than a decade or so, I think, after the Christian mission started, sort of thing. And because it's taken on, gone on ever since. I think, yeah, so we're like 180 odd years old now, I guess, if my figures are relatively accurate or whatever. But anyway, within the Salvation Army, guys, again, see, for some people who aren't familiar with the Salvation Army, just trying to describe all this, it's going to be lost on you anyway. We have different different departments, we'll say, different divisions of the Salvation Army. When you go to a Salvation Army church and become a part of a Salvation Army congregation and all the rest of it, there's things that you can get involved with, official things that you get involved with within the Salvation Army that just kind of like train your, as you go up through the movement, we'll say, the denomination or whatever. So one of the first things you get involved with is something called junior soldiers. And I think that's like, been out for so long ago, it's hard for me to remember the specifics there. Somewhere between like 6-7 years of age to around 12 or something like that, I think I was. I'm not quite 100% sure. I think up to around 12. The next thing is what they call Corps Cadets. Neither of these things, I don't know what would be the equivalent in other Christian denominations. You know, if there is any equivalent as such to these schools, we'll say, training groups within the Salvation Army. But after junior soldiers comes Corps Cadets. Now, I got involved with both actually, and so I was involved with the Corps Cadets. I think you get involved with Corps Cadets from 13 up to 15, 16, 17, something like that. And several years anyway, and you just go into the Bible. There's courses, you know, and you're taught about Jewish history, and so much of my understanding actually of the Jewish world and ancient Israel and all the rest of it came from, well, outside of what I heard in church anyway, but also came through my studies that I did in Corps Cadets. So anyway, guys, just going all around the circle, then I'd lead up to what I'm talking about here. This was the version of the Bible that we used in Corps Cadets. So this is the only reason why I had this version of the Bible, guys, because it was provided for us when I was involved with Corps Cadets. Like I said, it's a beautiful read. It really is. It's a beautiful read. It's very, very easy to read and all the rest of it sort of thing. I guess you can still get copies of it online. I don't know how expensive they would be, guys. I have had this. I had touched for ages, but I've had this now ever since I was a teenager. And all kinds of stuff in there and all that sort of thing, you know. Got a little thing here saying, if I can't preach like Peter, if I can't pray like Paul, I can tell the love of Jesus and say he died for all. So it's like, this was something that I may have heard that somewhere, guys. Probably did actually, and I just wrote it down in the inside cover here. Got Star of David here, guys. Very much at the understanding of our Jewish connections, even as a kid sort of thing, you know. And